Hi, welcome to The Real Brain Wrap, where we unwrap trends and progress through media.
I'm Ty.
I'm Greg. Normally we talk about all kinds of things. Sometimes we talk about more focused things. Today's one of those focused things topics. Like today we're talking about Manfred Mann and the 3 different versions of Manfred Mann.
Yeah, today's kind of a one-off. Normally we'd be talking about trends and social progress through media. Sometimes it's about serious subjects, sometimes about not so serious subjects. This isn't even kind of one of those. This is more of a music-based analysis of just something we discovered. And every now and then we might just want to talk about something that we find interesting.
Sometimes it's more trend tracking through our minds.
Yeah, and this is one of those because we did a video that's the link to this one on Instagram.
Somewhere.
Somewhere. OBNooT on Instagram. Follow us. We did a cover of Do Diddy, sort of.
We did a mock cover. We were going to cover Do Diddy, but we made the video about doing the cover of Do Diddy. And the more we looked at the lyrics, the more we discovered kind of how weird they were. The basic premise of the song, some guy sees a girl, she's singing gibberish, and he falls for her and starts doing all these things. It just sounds like a spell of some kind.
Yeah, and that was like the kind of the discovery we came to with the analyzing the lyrics of the song and looking at them and looking at other songs of the era as well that did similar things. And we were like, wait, all these other things that do the same thing, like Witch Doctor and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo and stuff like that, they're like the reason for the nonsense lyrics were that it was a magic spell. And then when we started applying that to Do Diddy, it made the song make more sense. And we thought it was really interesting. I knew that I had heard the name Manfred Mann before, and then we looked up the information about Do Diddy, and I was like, oh, okay, yeah, Manfred Mann was apparently this guy that made this band. This is like a doo-wop style band in the 50s, right?
Yeah.
When you look up Manfred Mann, like hits. When you like just look up Manfred Mann, like the first stuff that will come up, like the most common search topics and stuff like that for Manfred Mann, you'll come up with like Do Diddy because that was basically that band's biggest hit. And you'll also come up with Blinded by the Light. It's the weirdest thing. I was looking into this and I was like, wait, because 2 different bands both basically called the same thing, called some version of the Manfred Mann band, made both of those songs.
Right.
And I was super confused because one of the songs is a doo-wop style song and one of them is an 80s rock song. And I was like, these don't sound at all the same, so this is really weird. Why are they called the same band, too? And so I looked into it, and yeah, it is the same guy, and the guy's name is Manfred Mann. He got together with this guy, Mike Hug, in the early 60s, and formed a band called Man Hug Blues Brothers, which, according to the information we read, though, this is my take. It seems like Manfred Mann just keeps insisting on calling his bands his own name. But the information we read said that it was the producer of the label that they were on that suggested naming the band the Manfred Mann Band.
Because of the time era, if the original name was going to come out as Man Hug Blues Brothers, my guess is that a producer may see that and go, I get why you're calling yourself that, but maybe we should go with something more. Like, look at Manfred Mann. It's a very manly name. It's very just.
It says man twice in it.
Yeah. In this day and age, we don't want someone to assume, things. That's, speculative.
It was the early 60s, so we just think that maybe they were being a little more conservative.
Yeah.
Just our speculation. It might have just been that Manfred Mann himself convinced his producer to tell them to change the name to Manfred Mann.
Like, hey, I know, I mean, he's part of the band, Man Hug Blues Brothers, he's part of the band, but what if we just call it my name, Manfred Mann?
I'm really like the soul behind this group.
Yeah. You agree? Okay, now you tell him, though. You're the producer.
Man, you came up with a great idea, Mr. Producer, didn't you?
My theory is that the producer was a time traveler and knew the Blues Brothers was going to be used later on, like a decade later. I'm just saying.
Just as equally possible.
Yeah.
But we'll save that for a time travel analysis episode.
If we ever do one.
We will.
He knows something I don't. Anyways.
The future. Producer convinced them to change the name to the Manfred Mann Band. And at some point in the process, they also were known as Manfred Mann and the Manfreds.
Again, backing up his theory that he just likes the sound of his own name.
Because literally it was the Manfred Mann Band, Manfred Mann and the Manfreds, Manfred Mann Chapter 3.
In 1969, it lasted for a year.
And then in 1971, he formed the Manfred Mann Earth Band. And the Manfred Mann Earth Band was more of the rock style one. Classic and prog rock was in its day at this point. We had gotten the whole Beatles invasion throughout the 60s and stuff, and it was just like doo-wop and blues wasn't the thing anymore.
No.
And the Manfred Mann Earth Band is the one that did Blinded by the Light. The two singles that Manfred Mann is known best for is this like late 50s, early 60s doo-wop style song, and the other one is this 80s rock song. It's really confusing because all of his band names are almost exactly the same.
Those you don't know, Blinded by the Light wasn't actually their song originally.
Nope.
It came out from Bruce Springsteen,
Yep.
which had a much more folksy, mumbly sound to it. Bruce Springsteen.
Bruce Springsteen. And I think we also speculated that it seemed like at least at this point in Manfred Mann's career that was just his taste in music.
Yeah.
Because the Manfred Mann Earth Band, Blinded by the Light was their only hit, and it was a cover of a Bruce Springsteen song. And that Bruce Springsteen song in particular was a very folksy, mumble slurry song where you can kind of half understand what he's even saying. They also were very fond of covering Bob Dylan. And that just seemed like his taste. I don't know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what we just noticed. He's got a few bands that are called Manfred Mann, and Manfred Mann.
Manfred Mann, Manfred Mann and the Manfreds, Manfred Mann Chapter 3, Manfred Mann and the Earth Band.
Yeah.
To the point where it's very confusing.
Oh, I think it's really clear that Blinded by the Light, there's a flub in the lyrics. I'm just saying. They should have used Let Loose Like a Goose, not Bruce Springsteen's Let Loose Like a Deuce, not Manfred Mann's version.
Revved up like a deuce.
No, they should have gone with Let Loose Like a Goose. I'm just saying, that's the better rhyme.
It makes more sense. You know, you let a goose loose and it's just chaos.
Yeah. And that song itself, lyrically, it's chaos.
Yeah, goose attacks you and you're blinded. Blinded by the
goose.
fly.
The fly, yeah.
Let loose like a goose in the middle of the night.
I want to watch a goose let loose in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Singing Manfred Mann.
But see, now I'm just imagining, I just imagine a goose, stepping like Kevin Bacon, letting loose.
Gotta cut loose. Goose loose.
Anyways,
sorry this is so silly, but at least maybe it'll be entertaining and educational at the same time.
Anyways, all we're really teaching you is Manfred Mann
Manfred Mann
left out a goose in his lyrics. That's it.
That's the most important thing to take away from this.
Yes.
Let loose like a goose in the middle of the night.
While maintaining the same name. Have other bands, do other things, but make sure you keep your same title throughout the entire thing. He's got fun songs. He does. It's just
there's nothing wrong with him at all.
It's just fun to
notice these things, analyze them, share that we notice these things, see if anyone else finds it interesting.
Thanks for joining us here on this trip through Manfred Mann and Manfred Mann's third chapter, and Manfred Mann and the Earth Band,
and Manfred Mann and the Manfreds.
Thank you. But to make sure you tune in next time, please subscribe at OBNooT, OBNOOT, or The Real Brain Rap. I'm not going to spell that one all for you just because it's right here somewhere.